Welcome to the Success Blueprint, strategies to build a life and business you love. This is your go-to podcast for success in both life and business. I'm your host, Daniel Craig Johnson, and as a seasoned life and business coach with 15 years of experience, I will be sharing powerful stories, practical tips, and valuable insights on personal development, leadership, entrepreneurship, productivity, motivation, and more. Join me every week for the Success Blueprint, strategies for building a life and business you love. Let's ignite your success. Hello everybody, welcome to the Success Blueprint. It is Friday afternoon. I'm your host Daniel Craig Johnson. I'm very excited to be with you guys. Just want to say thank you again before I start. Thanks for all the ongoing support. You guys have been amazing, sharing the podcast, sharing the love, liking everything. We are so far in 18 countries and 50 cities just in about 3 months, and we are growing super fast. The response to the podcast has been very good, and I'm excited about the 15-minute Monday, which is another format where we talk high energy about one topic on Monday for 15 minutes, quick and easy. You can listen to it when you go to the gym. You can listen to it in the car. And the response for that was really, really good. But today, everybody, as I promised you, I got a guest that is one of my really, really close friends. His name is Xavier Sear. He's a very well-known commercial photographer and now venturing into videography. I've been waiting for this podcast very long. So hello, Xavier. How are you?
Hello, 18 countries and 50 cities. And how's it, brother? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I'm really, really happy to have you on the podcast. And I want to dive straight into it and would like to ask you about your background, your story, and we're going to go into a couple of questions that I have to ask you, and I'm maybe going to throw you into the deep end and ask you some questions that you're not expecting. You know me, we're going to do that game.
Making me nervous. Yeah, all right. I love that. I'm sure I'm ready to swim.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yeah, okay, let's go swimming together. So Xavier, let's start right away and tell me, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Xavier Sear.
Almost. So obviously my name is Xavier. In South Africa, funny enough, I go by Xavier.
Yes.
That is my brand, by Xavier, as you know. But I mean, you obviously are a man of the world. You're a world-traveled person, and you know that a Spanish name is pronounced Javier. So thank you for that. And my surname is a funny one. My surname is pronounced Sar. So I always say to people, remember Sar like spar. Good for you.
Yes.
So always Sar like spar. So Xavier Sear.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. And everyone that is listening to the podcast, make sure that if you get in touch with Xavier or Xavier, that you pronounce his name correctly. Okay, so to get right into it, the Success Blueprint is about talking about strategies and techniques and everything that can help you to build a life and business you love. And we talk about various topics, about life topics, happiness, emotional intelligence, but we also talk about a lot of business and leadership. And that's why I invited you on the Success Blueprint, because you have been very successful in your commercial photography career. You are now venturing in video, and I know that if you're going to be half as successful as you are in photography, you're going to be fantastic in that. And I'm very excited to talk about that a bit later. But what I would like to ask you is if you can just give us a brief introduction into where you were born, how you were raised, how you ended up with studying and everything, whatever you have done, and then became a photographer.
Okay, so I was born in Peru. I'm Peruvian by birth, many years ago. And my parents, my dad actually. My dad was a very much. He's an engineer, but he was an artist as well. My whole family actually. My family on his side. We have probably the most famous TV presenter in my country is my uncle. His son, my cousin, he goes to Hollywood representing Peru for the Oscars. So he's got his own TV show. My grandmother was a singer. My uncle was one of the most famous painters in my country. So I come from a family that thrives on art and thrives on creativity. So it's kind of just in my blood. My dad loved music. My dad loved anything art-related, photography. So I grew up looking and learning from my dad, how to ride bikes and how to take photos. And my love for music grew from him as well. So when I was 14, we left my country. Peru was in a very tough situation at that time in the 1980s. And there was a huge effect for terrorism in our country. And they wanted to get my dad. My dad used to run a big mine, and he was in charge of dynamite, massive deposits of dynamite. So they wanted to get my dad to get to the dynamite. So we had to leave my country in a hurry. So almost sounds like a Netflix series, right? You know, so we escaped that and we moved to South Africa, one of the places we felt we were safe, and we had family in South Africa. And so I did my schooling in South Africa. I did a lot of my university years in South Africa. I was a singer first. I always wanted to be a musician and a songwriter. And I did that for about 10, 15 years. I toured the country with some of South Africa's biggest stars. So I knew everybody in the art business in South Africa. And once I felt that I've done enough with the music, I ventured into photography. Well, first, before that, I wrote a book. Let me just put it there briefly. I gave my whole life to live in an ashram and to live like a monk for a year. So I cleared my mind. I kind of had a restart and a reset of what my values, my mind, and everything is. I wrote a book which got published all over the world. And after that, I went into photography full time. And I've been doing now this for about 13 years, 12 years, plus minus.
That sounds very interesting. That was interesting. Thank you for that bit of background. Tell me, what makes you passionate about photography? Why photography? Why deciding to become an artist?
Funny enough, I didn't choose photography, almost that I feel like photography chose me. When I was in standard 9, which was, I don't know, what is it now, grade 11 or something. So the year before matric, I went to an aptitude test. You know, it was kind of your parents had to send you for an aptitude test and see what direction you wanted to take after you finish matric. And it was one of those, you know, full day, 500 questions and, you know, listening to drawing diagrams and answering this. And I don't know how psychologists do it, but they are so accurate with their result. Funny enough, the results came back a couple of weeks later. And the 3 top things that I could be when I was younger, and this killed me, this destroyed my heart, because I was set on to be a doctor.
Yes.
And even on standard 9, I was studying to pass a test so I could go to the University of Guadalajara in Mexico.
Oh, yes.
With 2 of my friends from Peru. And so I was preparing to be a doctor. And anyway, the results come back. First, aptitude, photographer.
Okay.
I was destroyed. I was like, who wants to be a photographer, you know? At that time, the photography thing wasn't like now. In my country, a photographer was a guy that would stand in the square of the city and ask a family for a picture with those old machines. And,
yes.
You know, so I didn't realize that photography had such a scope and such a variety of things, and it was exciting. Anyway, so that was the first. The second was a policeman and a baker.
Yes.
2 and 3. And I've got a very innate sense of justice, and so that's why being a policeman resonates with me. And a baker, and I love baking. Funny enough, I've developed that taste later in life. So amazing how they kind of see what your aptitudes can be from young. So in a way, I didn't pick photography. It almost picked me from when I was young. I just remember the first time I picked up a camera with my dad. I was not even 10 years old, and the whole kind of thing bit me, and I was just hooked. So I guess it's in my DNA.
Yes. Well, I guess sometimes in life it takes you these funny routes where you really don't think that what you actually ending up with was ever going to be your career or your success. And that is why success is so multifaceted, why there's never a recipe
Yes.
or a clear answer to the question, what is success? You know, success can be defined for someone having billions in their account and running a successful business. And for other people, they have nothing. They live minimalistic. They do yoga 6 hours a day, and that is their happiness, you know. And some people live in a cabin in the wood and have nothing at all, not even running water, and they are happy and find themselves successful, you know. So it shows you how multifaceted success is in general.
Funny enough, my version of success at that time was being a doctor.
Yes.
That was, you know, I would kind of make my parents proud, and I had no interest in biology or science. It was just what somebody was supposed to be.
Yes.
So I'm glad I didn't do that, to be honest with you. Funny enough, my two other friends ended up being highly successful doctors, both live in Peru. And it's funny how life just took us in different directions. And I'm very grateful that I did not follow that path. Not that anything wrong with being a doctor. That's fantastic. I just don't think I would be the person I am today if I took that journey.
Yes. In hindsight, good to know. So, Javier, as someone who has achieved success in both commercial photography and in music production, what common threads or strategies do you see that contribute to the success in a creative industry?
That's a great question. Actually, I took some time to think about it yesterday, and I made like a couple of points that I think can apply to me and I could apply to other people as well.
Yes.
So the first one, I called it, be the leader of your own obsession.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean is you can't just like what you do. You have to really love it. You have to breathe it. What you do has to become your mantra. So I believe that you need to believe in yourself, but also to find people around you that believe in you as well. So obsess with what you do and be the leader of that obsession. So that would be the first. The second thing is I believe that positive energy and belief can overcome internal conflict. And what I mean is that 10% of what happens in your life is what actually happens, but 90% is how you actually react to what happens. So your life is basically in your hands. You are the captain. You are the master of your destiny. And we all have self-doubts, right? We're humans. It's normal. So some people just mask those flaws better than others. But I believe that even though we're all flawed and we all have weaknesses, if you have energy and love for what you do, you can overcome those weaknesses. When you walk into a shoot with me, I think how we met, I went to your studio in Victoria Yard, if I'm not mistaken. And I was shooting a magazine cover. And I remember you were so welcoming and so professional. And I'm like, hey, I like this guy, And it looks like from the outside that when I'm running that show, I'm running the shoot, that I am very extroverted and so on. When in fact, I'm actually quite shy.
Yes.
I'm actually a bit of a loner. I'm very introspective. I'm not a man of many words. But because I'm a DJ and I'm a photographer, people think that I'm the life of the party, and it's not. So I've managed to overcome my flaws and my weaknesses, for example, being shy and not being very people-oriented, by having energy and having love for what I do. So that will be my second one. Then something that I'm going through now is that focus on your learning. Life is quite long. So, you have a lot of time to learn. Time is money. Is your glass half empty or is it half full? Is your mind willing to learn, or do you think you know enough? Do you walk into a room and you think you're the smartest person, or you are willing to listen to other people? So focus on learning. Learning in this age is so important because there's so much data. There's so much knowledge. Now you used to go to a library and be able to look and for a book. Now you're just going to Google or just going to ChatGPT.
Yes.
And you can get any information. So everything we've gained so much time just by being all this data being available. So I've just taken over 3 months. So people are going on my social media like, where are you, bro? Like, are you okay? What's happening? Why are you not showing face? And I didn't put it because I'm not somebody who likes to spew my life to everybody.
Yes. But
I'm quite a private person. But I've taken 3 months to learn a new skill.
Yes.
So that's why I've been away. And I feel like things like social media and distractions for me.
Yes.
To take me away from those skills because I'm quite focused on my learning. Mm-hmm. So with what you have in your head, you can lose your car, you can lose your spouse, you can lose your house.
Yes.
Whatever you've learned, you can never lose. It's something that is there for you. It's your pot of gold. That's your currency. Anywhere in the world you go, that's your currency. So learn and never stop learning. That would be one of the things that is important to me. Another thing that I thought about it yesterday is that art and creation, since we're speaking about creativity, right?
Yes.
And what we do as well. You've been an incredible artist as well. I mean, I love your self-portraits. incredible. I mean, how this guy thinks, and you have so much emotion in your work, and I really admire your work.
Thank you.
Art and creation is a process of finding something bigger than you. So often what I try to do is, I remember when I first started, that I created songs or art for most selfish reasons, to aggrandize myself. It was done for my ego.
Yes.
I want to be popular, I want to be rich, or I want to be liked, I want to be approved, I want to be liked on social media. But things that are made just for yourself kind of fizzle away with time,
Yes.
Art that is selfish has an expiry date.
I agree 100%.
It's one-dimensional, it's boring,
Yes.
it's for one person, it's to satisfy one's ego. So things that you cannot share with others are not as soul-fulfilling as things that you bring to the world.
Yes.
So I think that's something that's very important for me. And at the end of the day, your legacy, what you leave behind, is what you've shared with others, right?
I agree.
Laughter is always nicer when you're with other people.
Yes.
Wine tastes so much better when you cheers with somebody else, right?
Yes.
It's a most precious moment. So same with your art. Treat your art like something that needs to be shared with the world. Then I think that every achievement that you do needs focus. Going back to the first point where I took some time off, now social media and everywhere else, it's good to have talent. There's so many talents. We see it on TV. A little kid goes on stage and starts singing, and you go, oh my goodness, never heard anything like this in my life before, right? Unbelievable. But that is not enough. Talent is not enough. If you're not prepared to sit your ass down on a chair or a studio and do whatever you're doing, talent is not going to get you there. So many talented people have died with nothing, not a penny in their pockets.
Yes.
So the world is almost designed to distract you. So you need to focus because talent is not enough. And another one that I thought, is about be willing to fail while you build your life's work.
Yes.
Because failure is just a success. It's just a part of life, both of them, right?
Yes.
It's like death and taxes.
Yes.
Like you can't escape them, especially here in Ireland.
Yes.
Promise you can't escape taxes in Europe. So I've often tried to understand the public obsession with and fear of failure. If you look at your life, most people's lives, our path is set and where we are because of what we failed. Not what we've gained, is how we failed to get us to where we're here. So I think school and our education puts the fear of failing, and on the other side, to constantly win, to win all the time, to be the best, never be a failure. Be the richer, the more healthy, the more beautiful, and you are not allowed to fail. And I say to you, allow yourself to fail.
Yes.
Failure is beautiful. Failure is beautiful.
Yes.
I want to fall so I can get up one more time and get better. Every time, like even now, in these 3 months that I've been learning how to filmmake and how to edit and how to do this, it's a constant process of failure because you don't know. You're kind of jumping into something new, into uncharted waters.
Yes.
But without those failures, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I think failure is beautiful. And I'll say the last one is find out who you want to be and then hustle for that.
Yes.
So find people that you resonate with. Read a book, get a biography of somebody you like, somebody you look up to. But don't idolize people because people are just people. People are human. But mimic the best things about them. Learn from them. They've been there before you. So take their ups, take their downs, and just copy what they've done and use it for your own blueprint in a way. So don't steal, but borrow.
Yes.
Because if I said, Dan, let's you and I draw the sun right now in a piece of paper. The sun will look differently.
Yes.
It's the same sun out there, right? It's the same for every single person in the world. But the way we draw it will have your own take on it. It will have my own take on it. It will have your experience on it. And that's why you can even copy anything from anybody else. You can't even plagiarize because you can make it the same. So just do that for the moment and develop until you find your own style
Yes.
and your own voice. And then once you discover who your real, authentic style is, carry on with that.
Yes. Yeah, many points that you discussed are really points that I always try to hand over to clients when I have them for coaching, for life coaching or business coaching. There's many points that you followed along that are the essence of coaching, and particularly also the last point that you've mentioned about we have to look at other artists, we have to look at other people, other leaders, other thought leaders. If we want to be public speakers, you have to look at other public speakers. And what you do is the first step is to learn the trade, which means in photography, for instance, you learn your camera settings, you learn your different flashes, you learn your different equipments, your light modifiers, all the different things like ISO, aperture, and so on. And it is very important that in that time you follow the basics, you do all the theory, you know how to execute properly. Then what you do, and that is really just from my perspective, how I've experienced it, then you create. And very often you need to go online, you need to look at other artists that you aspire to. Like you've been a great inspiration for me in my early days of photography. I always looked at your work and admired your work. And then I started shooting things like that. And eventually, when you have enough technique and you have enough that you have looked at and you have enough inspiration, then you add your own language and your own perspective to it. And then once you have all these concepts inherited, what happens then is now you start redefining concepts and now you start finding own ideas to create new concepts. And I think if I would have to give something to coaching clients as well, I would say that is the essence of finding your own language. And whether it is in photography or in business, you have to find your own language. You take what everyone knows, you take your own knowledge, you learn the skills and you make it your own language. And that's how it works.
Agreed. Yeah, like you said, it's just about finding the basics, learn the rules, then you break them.
Yes.
And then once you have your own style, and it takes a while. I would say it took me 7 years
Yes.
to get my own voice as
Yes.
a photographer. But listen, I might be a slow learner, I don't want to discourage anybody, but who's counting really,
Yes.
But I'll say 7 years to discover who I was as a photographer.
I can agree 100%. It took me exactly about a bit more than 7 years to literally find who I really wanted to be as a photographer and what language did I want to speak. How did I want to express myself in terms of my self-portraiture? How did I want to express myself in terms of my commercial photography and what makes me happy and drives me and keeps me passionate about it every single day, which you also mentioned very beautifully. Success can mean different things to different people. How do you personally define success and how has your definition evolved throughout your career as a photographer, music producer, and now as an up-and-coming video producer?
Gosh, success. Like I said to you, like my definition of success when I was a kid it's quite different from what it is now. So it definitely has evolved throughout the years, And again, we are just all the product of our own conditioning, and what our parents said and taught us, what our teachers and spiritual leaders told us was wrong or right, what we learned from other friends, people, strangers, books, opinions, videos, whatever, In a world, I think, where material things are regarded as a proof of success, I feel that I was living that this was a true definition of success. I was part of that race to be the best, number one, the richest, the fittest, the smartest, the most successful. And I fell under that, you also, right, under the illusion that was what I needed to be from when I was young. However, we are bombarded with images and signs of this everywhere. Open your Instagram. Who looks the most successful? People are traveling all over the world.
Yes.
They look happy, perfect bodies. But, so to the normal average person, it must look almost unattainable. And it must be heart-wrenching to think, I would never, why is my life not like that? But it's just an illusion. But it comes with age, and as you evolved, I think leaving the world for me for that year where I was a monk, it changed everything for me, and as I grew older and I came to terms with the fragility of life, how temporary everything is, how transient every breath you have is, it all changed for me. So I met so many successful people, especially in my work. And They were the picture of success, wealthy and notable and notorious. But they were, when I knew them personally, they were miserable. They would confide in me and they would tell me how miserable they were, how sickly. Some of them died alone.
Yes.
I'm like, hey, this is not what love is supposed to be. So there was a book that I read that was very interesting, and it was by Australian nurse called Bronnie Ware, I think, Bronnie Ware, and it's called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. So she was a nurse in palliative care, and she worked with people that were about to pass for the last 12 weeks of their lives. Anyway, so there were 5 things that people said that they wish they would change. Number 1 was, I wish I had lived a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Number 2 was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Funny enough. Number 3 was, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Number 4, I wish I had let myself be happier. And number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with friends. So that also shaped my definition of success. Why so many people at the end of their lives, having had so many in inverted commas success, why do they look at life differently? So those 5 things have really changed my life.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember being a workaholic for a while and being very, very successful financially. I remember going to bed and my phone would ping all night for all the invoices I'm getting paid. Ping, ping, ping throughout the night. And bought a new car, a new house with a view, but I was drinking a bottle of wine a night, every night, if not 2. You know what, you sit and retouch. So I was kind of like a functioning alcoholic.
Yes.
I gained a lot of weight. I was not fit as I was before because of money, you know. And once I saw that I was off balance, and I realized that my health was, because without health you cannot do anything. You can't even work. So I'm deteriorating my health in order to gain money, but the money that you use won't even get your health back. So I decided to change my life. Decided to work less. And how do I work less and earn the same money? So I decided to have less clients, but be more discerning of the clients that I want. So I want clients that pay me more. So I have to work less, but earn the same amount of money.
Yes.
So that's what I did. I restructured my business to appeal to a different demographic, not take every single job that came to me, because I would never say no. I had to learn to say no.
Yes. To
respect myself, you know, because I thought by saying no, I would kind of not get that extra money, which I didn't need, because I didn't have time to spend it, you know. So with time, I learned to love myself, to appreciate the world, to travel, and then my whole concept of success became more of one where I feel laughing is more important.
Yes.
You know, so laughing authentically, uncontrollably became more important. Even important to appreciate beauty, to create work that shows that beauty inside you, because every work that you make has an imprint of you in that picture. Yes. Right? So I took time to love myself, to eat better, to stop drinking, to open a charity that would fit the disadvantaged in town every Wednesday. I did it for years. I learned to give and not to expect to receive.
Yes.
I learned to breathe easier. And I thought if my life made somebody's life in the world to breathe easier, that would be my definition of success. So my life became a work of art where I wanted to give more than to receive. And I think I'm doing my best. I'm still human, of course, and I'm still flawed like everybody else. But I'm trying to live that life as much as I can.
Yes, that resonates totally. And my definition of success has dramatically changed throughout the years. And I've been on the same rat race, working for corporates and making really, really big amounts of money, and always looking for the next bigger car, the next house with a bedroom more, just because it looks nice and you can host more people when you throw that party, you know, and you play the techno vibes and everyone goes crazy and drinks. And eventually, you know, you recognize how all of that is knee deep. And I think photography coming into my life and completely ripping me out of the corporate industry has changed so much. It has changed me as a human being. It has helped me to overcome past traumas that I've experienced in my childhood, that I experienced during my military time.
Yeah.
so many things that I learned to deal with in a completely different way and open up to beauty. And I've listened to really, really good podcasts of Michael Singer, which is a very big teacher on spirituality. And he talks about how people believe that if they get what they want, they will be happy. And that's the rat race. That's the car, the Instagram account where everyone thinks you are famous and you are totally popular. That's actually what people really think. When you get what you want, you're going to be happy. But unfortunately, that is really something that doesn't work that well, because how many times in your life does life in front of you actually turn out to give you what you want? If you live your life by believing that you only can get happy when you get what you want, then you surely got your recipe for failure. And that's what he talks about very beautifully, about being more open, being more receptive to the life that you have, appreciative and helping and giving. And once you start releasing those blockages within yourself and you start experiencing more and you more open to all experiences in the world, that's when you really truly achieve unconditional happiness. And when you have reached this unconditional happiness, which you have described in what you've said so beautifully, then you become overfloated with joy and energy, and you can then give that to other people, because that is what you need to do. You need to have purpose. You need to share it with people. You need to laugh uncontrollably with people. That is also a very, very beautiful description of success. So obviously in the podcast.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean,
yes.
I just, no, sorry. I was saying that, but also let's not, I'm saying to the listeners of the world, happiness is not a goal.
Yes.
Happiness is transient as well. There's no permanent happiness, because if you keep chasing happiness, you're just chasing an empty goalpost, in a way. So they're just moments of happiness.
Yes.
It's impossible to be happy all the time. So happiness is not a goal, but I think the process is nice. I think everything is about the process.
Yes, 100%.
Getting somewhere, the journey. That's what's what beautiful is. But yeah, I agree with you completely, man. 100%.
Yeah, what I try to teach clients always is to say, happiness is not a destination, just as much as like balance is not something that you're looking for and you're going to find it. What I try to tell them is that you have to recognize and understand, when are you moving closer towards happiness and balance, and when are you actually moving away from it? And then to learn how to counter steer, to move closer to it again. That's the recipe, and it works. And it's something that I really like to share with people, So the podcast aims to provide listeners with different perspectives on success, which we have discussed. And in your experience, what are some of the misconceptions or myths that success has that you would like to maybe share with listeners, something that you have decoded for yourself where you say this is a misconception?
First, I always think that opinions are just opinions, right?
Yes.
So there's no right or wrong. It's just your opinion, and we got to be more tolerant, I think, especially now. You can see it on social media and in the media in general. We have to be more tolerant with each other. Just because we differ in opinions doesn't mean we have to kill each other. We can still have dinner together, even if we have completely polar opposite opinions. So this is just my opinion, and I think everyone's journey is unique and is valuable and is different. So what applies to me might not apply to you. But some of the misconceptions and myths I would guess is that this is hard work. This is hard work. It's not easy. Some people might make it overnight, and which is highly possible in the social media world. But most people succeed because they've been doing what they have been doing for years. Like years. I was watching one of the biggest channels in YouTube yesterday. He must be 25, somebody was saying, why is this guy so good? He got like this tech reviews, and I think he's got like 15 or 16 million followers on YouTube, which is massive. But this guy has been doing, he's 25, he's been doing it since he was 10. His first channel, he was 10 years old. So it's taken him 15 years to get where he is now. So kind of be a master of what you do. Success for me is leaving the world a little bit better. So be prepared to work. Be prepared to work hard. I think there's no shortcuts in this at all. And I think just, again, develop your own style.
Yes.
Learn to sell. I think they should teach that in school.
Yes.
Things like how to sell. It's such an incredible skill. I think get a good lawyer sometimes. Get how to know how to run a business.
For sure.
And then in my case with you is be the person that everybody wants to work with. Again, like I said, when we came to the studio, you were so professional, so friendly, so attentive, so lacquer. It's just so nice to work with you. No attitude, there was no airs of anything. You were just, dude, it was such a pleasure. And I thought, oh, what a great guy to work with. So maybe another misconception is that your hours will be normal.
Yes.
As a creative, there's no 9 to 5. No. Your hours will be much longer. I work 16 hours on average every day, Monday to Sunday. If I take Sunday off, I'm lucky, and because I love what I do. But it's also in this profession, you have to learn constantly. So you have to, now with AI coming in, if you're not into AI, you know how to operate it at a certain level, you'll be out of a job in 2 years.
Yes.
So you have to be always growing in this business. So that I would think that's it. There's no shortcuts to success.
Okay, thank you. That's
do you think?
Good insight. I agree 100%. Shortcuts to success, that is reserved to a few of us. You got a Bill Gates, you got a Tiger Woods, you got those people that they just have something and they have like an abundance of talent and they just fall into the right corner and something boosts them overnight. But if you look at the world population and you look how many of us have that right reserve to be millionaires or super successful in whatever they define as success overnight, that is a few of us. One thing that I've learned in life is if you're not willing to work hard, there is no way you're going to get anywhere. Hard work is necessary, even when you do what you love. Because if people say that to me, as a photographer, I love photography. I love to go into the streets. I love to do any kind of photography. But at the end of the day, if I want to survive as a commercial photographer, I still have to write invoices. I still have to write quotes. I have to deal with difficult clients. And that is all things that you do not love. You do these things so that you can do more of what you love. And that is what it is. So,
and going back to that, there's... they say, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yes.
And by the way, I don't know if you've used this program, but it's called Studio Ninja.
Okay.
And Studio Ninja is designed to run your studio as a photographer.
Yes.
So I'm not being paid by Studio Ninja, but I'm just saying I run my studio through that app.
Yes.
So you can see your sales per month, your all your output, do your invoice, do quotes, reminders of when your shoot is, where it absolutely ties. It is also linked to Shootproof, which is a gallery where you send your galleries of finished work to your client. So if you ever want to save time, it's not cheap. I think it's like $25 a month.
Yes.
But it is one of my favorite apps that is really shaped my business in a positive way.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, Shootproof has actually saved a lot for me because during COVID, I used Shootproof. I went through all my drives and everything, and I've created online galleries with Shootproof because there was no physical shooting happening. There was no stream of income. So I sold images that I had saved on my hard drives over many, many years, and I just sold them over Shootproof. I sent clients, I said, hey, guys, here is some images. We took 500 images. You only had 20 back in the days or 30. Here is the rest of them. Do you want to choose some of them? And I literally really made good amounts of money with just selling pictures that were sitting around on my hard drives and otherwise would have been deleted. So I can just agree to you, Shootproof was a saving grace, and using tools, that's what it is. If you want to be successful, there is tools of the trade that you need to use, and you need to familiarize yourself with them, just as you also mentioned AI. So you have had the opportunity to photograph top celebrities in South Africa, which, I've been following crazily. So can you share any behind the scenes stories or experiences that have shaped your approach to photography and helped you succeed in such a competitive field as shooting celebrities that clearly every now and then might have like huge expectations and might be sometimes difficult to work with?
Like I said before, when I was a musician and a songwriter, I was writing for a lot of artists in South Africa. I had many radio hits with different people singing my songs. So I was lucky that when I did that for a while, I got to know a lot of musicians and big record labels. So when I went into photography, it was almost like a transition. And who are we going to go with? So let's go with Xavier, right? Because he's shooting all these celebrities. Meantime, they were friends of mine.
Yes.
So I had kind of luck in that, on that respect. So I guess music really did a lot for my career. Until also one day I get a call from one of my clients and says, you need to shoot there's an artist called Natty in South Africa. And I want you to shoot Natty's wedding tomorrow. So this is like on a Saturday afternoon, and I'm busy at a wedding.
Yes.
Okay. But when this client calls me, it's quite an important client, so I answer the phone. So I had 3 or 4 people in my team that day, and he said, but you need to organize 6 people for tomorrow. 2 on video, like 2 photographers and 2 assistants. So I was like, okay. I'm shooting a wedding right now, and I've got 12 hours to organize this for tomorrow. And I love Natty, by the way. Natty is a massive star in South Africa, and I thought, okay, I cannot lose this opportunity. Mm-hmm. Anyway, finished the wedding very late, and we need to be in Sun City the next day at like 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning. Anyway, I organize everybody. We meet in my house 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, and we leave for Sun City. I arrive there. I'm shooting their wife. Like, listen, there's many celebrities in South Africa. I don't know half of them because I don't watch TV. I don't see the news. I'm not into celebrity world. So I'm terrible. If you say who's Kim Kardashian, I'm like, I have no idea what she looks like. Okay, yes. It's that bad. Anyway, and I guess it's been a good thing for me because I just treat people like people.
Yes.
I'm not like celebrity crazy, or I'm going to treat you differently. I just treat you like a human being.
Yes.
So anyway, I do the wife. I'm doing her makeup, and everything's beautiful. Doing the brides. Bridesmaids, beautiful. Now they say, go to Natty's room, okay? So they give me the room. Now they booked like half of the palace of Sun City.
Yes.
Jeez, okay, this guy's doing well, Jeez, like I should have charged them more. That's what I'm thinking, And anyway, I knock on the door, and then Black Coffee opens the door. So I know Black Coffee is. So I said, is Natty here? Thinking that Black Coffee is a friend of Natty, who's also an artist.
Yes.
Meantime, Black Coffee's name is Natty.
Yes.
In Kosinati.
Yes.
So he just looked at me, and I go, oh, shit. I'm doing Black Coffee's wedding, Anyway, it was a very awkward moment. He took it with a pinch of salt, and he just smiled. I thought he thought I was joking. Meantime, I wasn't. Thank goodness. Realized I'm doing Black Coffee's wedding.
Yes.
And it was an incredible success, and it was beautiful. We got some beautiful images, and that's one of the things that has happened to me in as a photographer. I've done shots with Top Billing. We flew to Ghana, and I've flown all over the world with shooting magazine covers. So I've been so blessed to do that. But I know, like for me, I think my strengths have to be that I deliver quite quickly.
Yes.
I'm not like other photographers that take 2 months to deliver or 3 weeks. As busy as I am, I deliver quite quickly. I've got a retoucher overseas that does my work for me almost exclusively, and she delivers very quickly.
Yes.
So if I need things to be delivered overnight or whatever, she's there for me.
Yes.
So again, building your team and so on. And again, like come back to just be nice, be lacquer to people, and people want to work with people they like. And if you're professional and polite and
100%,
and you behave in a certain manner.
I agree.
Especially with celebrities, because they're used to a certain 5-star treatment, right?
Yes. I agree to you. And what you said was very important, to treat people like people. That was one thing, not even thinking about who they are, just have that attitude to treat people the same way. And one thing for aspiring photographers, really something that I ran into a wall with into the first 2 or 3 years of my career, was that I was still employed and I was still having a full-time job, and I had a very hectic full-time job as a risk manager, for a huge corporate. And that was like 16 hours and emails till late night. So I didn't understand the business yet, and I still used to shoot weddings, and then the turnaround times always turned into, all of a sudden it was 2 months, it was 2.5 months, 3 months. And, you just didn't have time to get to the work until I literally understood. And that was because I was new in the business. I started understanding what industry I am in, and that's the mistakes that you make along the way. And you understand you're not just photographing a wedding on the weekend to make some extra money. You are shooting that one moment in someone's life. And under ideal circumstances, it might be the only wedding that they're going to have. So if you do not have that attitude and you mess that up, and now the bride is angry with you, and the bride knows 500 people, and then the bride's 500 people know another 500 people, you can nail yourself so quickly, and you can literally close your business down within a couple of months. Your credibility goes out of the window. So if you don't look after these things, that is so important. And that is something that I learned very early into my career. And I had to fix it because the business would have not been sustainable like that. Because in times of social media where everyone is out there, that is something that's going to take you down very quickly. So a very, very important thing that you mentioned there, and that is like turnaround times, taking your work seriously and understanding. And I think that is the most important thing, to put yourself into someone else's shoes and understand how anxiously they are waiting and are being excited about that product that you're actually returning to them,
So what I do now is, for example, so again, if you outsource your work, so let me put it in these terms. Let's say you charge $100 for 1 hour of your work to your clients, and it takes you 5 hours to finish retouching all your wedding pictures, right? That's $500. It's 10,000 Rand. Okay. If you can outsource that job for 2,000 Rand,
yes,
what would you do it yourself?
Yes.
Right. And then if somebody specializes in retouching, that person is, so I say this, give the best person for the job.
Yes.
Right. So if someone specializes in retouching and she can charge me 2,000 Rand instead of me taking 5 hours of my time
Yes.
to do it, just build this 2,000 Rand into your budget
100%.
right, for the client. So save yourself that time. You don't cut your profits, and you get a better job, so that the quality of your work is enhanced and is quicker. So what I do now for weddings is I deliver 2 or 3 pictures the next day.
Yes.
Within 24 hours, so they can brag on social media.
Yes.
Right. And because it's nothing worse than waiting for your pictures, especially
100%.
Some people take 3 months.
Yes.
Like average industry time up to 90 days. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yes.
So actually, funny enough, after this, I'm talking to one of my clients that I'm shooting a wedding here in Ireland, and I will deliver some of the images within 24 hours.
Yes.
So when I get home, I download all my stuff, back everything up, so it's backed up twice, and I will deliver the best photos within 2 hours, and they can brag to everybody, because it's kind of like strike while the iron's hot.
Yes.
Everybody's excited about the wedding. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's sharing pictures on social media, and boom, suddenly your pictures are on social media. People will follow you, will be blown away by the quality and speed of your work, and you just look more professional.
Yes.
I mean, it's a win-win. Why not take half an hour to do 1 or 2, 3 pictures, and the positive outcome you can get out of that is just massive.
100%. That's also why all my high-end clients and all clients that really, they pay big amounts of money for the shoots. All the retouching goes to retouchers that I use, and then the turnaround at times, they become much quicker, and that's very, very important. So transitioning, we're talking about the transition. So you've been offline for 3 months to really transition into a new field, which is videography. During that transition now from photography into videography, what challenges have you encountered during that journey, and how have you overcome them? And what advice would you have for someone that would like to venture into a new field like that, like you going from photography into videography?
I think anything, if you want to expand your art, if you want to expand your vision, try something new. I've been doing photography for a long time, like 12, 13 years. So I feel almost like filmmaking is almost the next logical evolution for me. So I won't lose my photography skills, but I will grow and upscale myself with a new skill. And I just love the scope of filmmaking.
Yes.
When you take a photograph, you take a single frame, right? When you do film, you take in 25 or 24 frames in 1 second.
Exactly.
So your brain is completely different. It's so exciting to think about the world like that. Now you're thinking of movement, and so it's a beautiful way of looking at the world.
Yes.
It's just different. And I'm still training. Of course, it'll take me forever to look at the world differently, but it's so exciting. I feel like when I first started doing photography, that's how I feel now. So excited about film.
Yes.
And, so with photography, it's easier to maintain that illusion.
Yes.
Right? With movies, it's harder to maintain that illusion for a longer period of time. Hundreds of images are rolled into one piece of footage. So the approach is different. Also, when you do photography, you usually work with models. Some models usually either they know or don't know what to do. But with film, you work with actors. So it's a more involved process. I think the storytelling part of the art is more involved as well.
Yes.
So storytelling is essential. I think as I grow older as well, and as you develop a style and a voice, and you have something to say.
Yes.
And I think storytelling became more important for me because I've got to say so many things. I mean, I love to bring my book to life one day as a movie, So I have so many ideas that I want to do. So I think that's exciting me about filmmaking. If when you look at social media and you scroll through your phone, you can just scroll through millions of photographs, right? Oh, nice. Oh, cool. Oh, okay, that looks good. That's got my attention. But when you look at a 30-second film, you can almost like analyze it.
Yes.
You scrutinize it. You go, okay, what did it say? What was the message? Because if you look at 15 seconds and you just look at something that had nothing to say, you go, okay, I just wasted 15 seconds of my life. You feel not satisfied.
Yes.
Completely empty of those 15 seconds, right? There has to be some delivery. So I think that is exciting about the medium. And I just want to see and feel the world through the eyes of a movie maker.
Yes. Yeah, that's very interesting. So in that field, you're going to again work with celebrities because it's almost like when you came from music into photography, now from photography into videography, you have good connections, good networks, and you can tap into that. And that's why I want to ask you the question, like when you work with these top celebrities or these connections that you now already have at your hand with the video making, what are some valuable lessons you have learned about professionalism, about discretion, and maintaining a positive reputation in the industry? And how have these factors contributed to your success?
I think like a massive chunk of my career has been that I've had repeated clientele. I'm a man of few words, so I'm more of a doer than a talker. Sometimes I wish I was a better salesman, but I think my work speaks for itself. So I've never been really a salesman because I felt my pictures sold me. So I think one of the things is that just having repeat people wanting to work with me, I've been very lucky. I guess, like I said to you, with celebrities, I treat everybody the same. There's no different if you are not celebrity or a celebrity. There's no different for me. You're human to me. So you feel that authenticity on how I treat you. So I respect your time. I value your business. I also say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. If people are crazy, yeah, cool. Yeah, yes. I'm not going to put it on Twitter, right? I don't care. Do what you want. As long as you respect each other, I think it's cool. I also like to, because I've always been a little bit different, I think, than a lot of people, a bit of a weird person, I guess. I like to create an experience with my clients, have that connection. So it's not just a shoot, because I've been shot before, because I modeled for years, and it felt like it was just quickly, and it was just a shoot. Yes. I worked with very, very many top photographers, and they were finished in half an hour.
Yes.
Like they didn't care. And I thought, oh, geez, like if that was me, I would have given a little more, even though they were great and they knew the stuff. It almost felt like they didn't really care enough. So when you work with me, you can see that I really care 100%. About you.
Yes.
So I think that you know that you like this. That's why I resonate with you. That's why we vibe, because we care about people.
Yes.
You just don't care about the money only. You're emotionally involved with the project.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things that really helped me, and that I've taken that overseas. It's never failed me before. Like being a professional in South Africa is the same as being a professional all over the world.
Yes.
But be that 1%, of people, of professionalism in your work. So that's what I mean. Just aim to get to that level. I mean, I never stop aiming because I never stop learning.
Yes.
I think I would say those are the things that have bring me, a little bit of success as we can describe it. Yeah.
Yes. So I got one more question for you, and that question would be, because I aim with this podcast to explore different blueprints to success, is there a specific turning point or pivotal moment in your career that significantly influenced your path to success? And how did you navigate that moment, and what impact did that have in your journey?
Gosh, so many, man. So many. I'll never forget delivering my first wedding pictures, an album. I think I think I charged like 1,500
Yes.
for the whole day, and album included, and
Yes.
it's like one of those things, where I earned like R2.
Yes.
I remember the guy came and because he was so cheap, he had cash.
Yes.
And he's like, he gave me like, what is it, 1.5? I said, yeah. He gave me the cash, and he's like, he had a little extra for you, like 200. So I made 1,700. I was like, woo!
Yes.
I just made 1.7 for a wedding. I was so happy, bro. And I delivered those images like a week and a half later, and it was so nice to see their faces. So I think that really changed my world in how powerful your art can be as a medium, how key and important it is for you to respect what you do, because somebody's letting you into their world and into probably one of the most key and important moments of their life. So the responsibility I felt for that was completely transforming, because I put myself in their shoes, and I said, if it was my wedding, which you shot, of course,
yes,
I said, how would I feel if that photographer didn't care about me? So that was the first. I think then my first commercial booking, I think I was extremely happy. I kept out of the money that I got paid, I took R100 note from the bank, and I kept it for a long time as a token of the hard work, as a sign, as a visible sign that I was worth something. I was still learning. And another one is when I do a lot of passion work, and I think your passion work defines your career. It's good to be busy. It's good to make money, but if you don't create the work that you want to be booked for, then it's going to be difficult to get booked for those type of work if you don't really do it. Yes. So I love tribes, I love people, and I love adventure. And so I traveled to Namibia. Long story short, I traveled to Namibia to meet a part of a Himba tribe that live very deep in the Namibian desert.
Yes.
It's like 900 k's from Windhoek. So I needed to hire a 4x4. And so I lived with them for a while. And the first time I went, we was kind of just getting to know them. No one spoke English, of course. We just communicated with hand signals, and it was amazing. It was so funny. And we got some beautiful portraits of the Himba, which decided to donate a lot of that money back to the community because they need water and they have different projects to do. So the second time I came back, because the tribe is so isolated within the country, they don't know what they look like. They don't have mirrors. The only way you can almost see yourself is if there's water, right? Yes. And you see yourself in your reflection. So they don't know what they look like. So I came back with the pictures that I took the first time, and to give them their pictures.
Wow.
And they were saying, they don't know that's you. They say, oh, but Craig, that's you in this picture.
Yes.
And they will give it to that person, right? It's such a wild thing to see.
Wow.
And I remember my guide, he told them that Xavier had a surprise for them, They called me I'm a Himba, I'm a Vapa. So it's like the white Himba. That's what they called me. So the I'm a Himba, I'm a Vapa was coming the next, it took me 1.5 years to come back, and that I had a surprise for them. Yes. And then in my dreams, actually, I saw a tree by a riverbed.
Yes.
By a dry riverbed, a dry tree. And it took me 2 days to find it. And I knew that it was just funny how dreams speak to people and to you. And I tied those pictures on the branches of that tree.
Yes.
I've got everything on video. It was incredible. Wow. One of the most beautiful moments in my life. And they left like at 3-4 in the morning because they had to walk to that tree.
Yes.
And when they arrived at about 7-8 in the morning, I was waiting for them, but hiding behind the bushes,
Yes.
kind of with my little cell phone, trying to capture the moment.
Wow.
And the faces of seeing themselves in pictures was one of the most life-changing moments of my life. And the powerful thing about pictures. And there's a photographer that something Nelson, he's a British guy that traveled and worked with tribes all over the world.
Yes.
And in one of his photos, he kind of zoomed into the eye of one of the Eskimos that he took a picture of. And you can see himself with his camera, with his Hasselblad in that picture. And he said that in every picture that you leave, there's a part of you in that picture, right? It's the subject and yourself.
Yes.
And that was so important. That also changed my life. And it changed how have to be respectful with people, how to portray them in a dignified way, in a way that they would like to be portrayed. You're just an observer. You know? So I think those three things really changed my life.
Very powerful. And, really just sharing so much important moments, even though we're not talking specific, about industry related things, but it's more about the journey and about the key takeaways. Listening to this podcast and listening to this story should inspire people. It should give them some insights in the thought process of you or people that are like-minded like us. And I think the listeners will have a lot. If you listen to this over and over again, there's many notes you can make. There's many key moments in this, what you've been sharing with us, and that will help if you're an aspiring photographer or videographer, or you just want to get into that industry. But the most important thing is that the things that you were talking about, they will resonate with any business person and also as a person in your personal life, because there's points like integrity, being passionate, finding your own language, finding your own success, and really going onto that journey and understanding. There's so much important messages to take away there that it will definitely add value to everyone's life. So I really am grateful that you've been on the podcast and that you joined us and that you shared so many beautiful stories and also insights. And it was really great to have you, my brother. I mean, I knew this is going to be super interesting, and particularly for the photographers out there that are waiting for this podcast, they're going to be super excited about this. So what I want you to tell us, please, is if someone wants to connect to you in terms of work, in terms of maybe some tips on social media, give us your handles, your webpage and your Instagram account if you can.
So my webpage is www.byxavier.com. So by Xavier, my name, and .com. It's very easy.
Yes.
On social media, Xavier Sear, Xavier Sear, and you just type on Google, Facebook, or Instagram, they should all come out. And let's connect, let's share. If you learned anything, or if you want assistance with anything, I'm always happy to help people. Always happy to give you some of my time. I'll be in South Africa again in September for 2 weeks for work. Currently in Ireland, in sunny Ireland. Sarcasm.
Yes.
It hasn't stopped raining. When people said to me that the summer lasted 2 weeks here, I thought they were kidding. They're not kidding.
Yes.
We had 2 weeks in June and that was it. It's gone. So I'm looking a bit transparent. I'm going back to South Africa to get some sun as well. And I miss my people. I miss my country. And I miss just being there.
Okay, thank you for that. What I will obviously do is I will link your social media accounts in the description of the podcast so listeners can go on there. So audience, that was Daniel, your host. That was Xavier Sear. I hope that I got it right this time.
Got it.
I got it, hey? And if you want to know more about Xavier, then you can follow his Instagram account. You can go onto his webpage or his Instagram account. You will see what he has been busy with in the past. You will obviously also see what he's busy with in the future. And if you want to connect, then Xavier is always willing to connect. I am glad that you've been on the show, and I hope that there is something that you take away from this. And please feel free to share it, like it, review it, and also bring it to people that might be interested, particularly in the photography or videography industry. They really will appreciate the podcast. I am glad that you've been here, and please don't forget to tune in for the 15-minute Monday. We're going to have an interesting topic on again, and I hope that you had as much as fun as I had, and I wish you a fantastic weekend. Xavier, I hope you have a great weekend over there in Ireland, and I will surely chat to you soon again, my brother.
Thank you, my friend. I hope to see you in September, and God bless the audience. And thank you for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys. That's a Success Blueprint with your host, Daniel Craig Johnson, where we discuss strategies to build a life and business you love. Take care.